We're drafting the most intriguing available free agents. Peter King, you get the first pick. Of all of the players left on the board in free agency, we're going to select the ones we find the most intriguing. Who do you have?
Jameis Winston is number one for me because I think that if I was a coach and felt that I could have sort of the tough love of Jameis Winston, if I could have tough love working with Jameis Winston, I'd really want to give that a shot. He's got too great a downfield arm, and he's been too productive a player, except for his decision-making. And again, that's a huge except for. But I'm fascinated. I would just love to get him on my team. And I would love it. Look, you listen to Bruce Arians this week. Did you hear in one of his interviews that he has called two coaches? And I don't know who they are. I really don't know who they are. But who knows? Maybe they were Doug Marrone and Mike Tomlin, although I doubt it was Mike Tomlin. but maybe they were two coaches with a need for a quarterback right now. And I am fascinated by the potential long-term of this guy because he's been so productive and he's still so young.
Hey, if I was Arians, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be pushing Jameis Winston on any coach outside of the division because if the Saints ultimately decide they want another Teddy Bridgewater-type veteran backup, Winston makes the most sense. Get him out of my division. I don't want to have to face him. Yeah. Last year, the Bucs got shredded by Teddy Bridgewater. I'm sure that's one of the reasons why he was on their wish list. Teddy Bridgewater had a great game against Tampa Bay last year when he was filling in for Drew Brees. All right, mine is Cam Newton. Because if Cam Newton's healthy, he's a top 10 quarterback. He's a 2015 NFL MVP. He's making a late arrival onto the free agent market. And we recognize it's going to take some time before a team can do a proper physical. They're not going to have some neutral outside doctor take a look at Cam Newton because he's got the foot issue. He's got a past ankle problem. He's got the shoulder injury, Peter, that last year caused him to change his throwing motion. So I would want to be able to completely and totally poke and prod Cam Newton to make sure he's healthy. But my goodness, if he's healthy, he is intriguing. He's one of the best quarterbacks you can get, and he's going to be motivated. We had that workout video earlier. He said they gave up on me in reference to the Panthers. He's going to be driven to have an incredible second act of his career. He still isn't 31 yet. I mean, we got Tom Brady and Drew Brees playing into their 40s, and I don't believe that Cam Newton will play into his 40s. He may not play past 35, but that's still 4 or 5 more good seasons. So I am very intrigued by what Cam Newton can do once he gets not a Carolina Panthers conveniently past physical, but a physical that he's passed with a team that has fully and completely examined whether or not he's truly ready for the physical demands of playing in the NFL.
Yeah, I'll go with my second pick now, Mike. We've probably exhausted the Cam Newton ideas. My second pick is going to be a surprise pick. Normally, I might say, give me Jadeveon Clowney, but I don't want to pay Jadeveon Clowney $20 or $21 million. I just don't feel that he's an intriguing player, but I don't believe I'd make him a rich, intriguing player. I'd want him for 15 or 16. That could take a couple of months. My second pick is going to be Prince Amukamara. And look, this is a game right now that relies on getting as many good corners as you can. Okay, 2 years ago, Pro Football Focus had Prince Amukamara as the 7th best cornerback in football. He slipped a little bit last year, but still, the great thing about Prince Amukamara, he's going to not be a shutdown corner. He's going to be a competitive, feisty corner. You're not going to be completing 70% in his area. You're going to be getting a guy who's an above-average NFL corner in a value contract.
I know he was a first-round pick of the Giants, but he first became well-known in the NFL circles. Do you remember how and why, Peter? Do you remember how we first really became aware of Prince Amukamara? When JPP threw him into the cold tub. Remember that video from several years ago?
Oh,
yes. Just carried him in and threw him into the cold tub. And he had a hard time with the Giants early on. Just the whole hazing and just pre-Richie Incognito, Jonathan Martin days. I think the Giants players gave him a hard time for whatever reason, but he's still going strong in the NFL. That is an intriguing pick, and you've left Jadeveon Clowney on the board for me. I feel guilty taking Jadeveon Clowney. I don't care how much money he wants. The question for this draft is how intriguing are they, and he is intriguing because of his potential to wreck an offensive game plan if he's healthy. But just like Cam Newton, I need to know that he's healthy. And maybe if he languishes long enough on the market, I can steal him for 1 year with an incentive-heavy deal where I don't have to pay him unless he plays and unless he performs, and then he's set up for his big payday next year if he can make it through the 2020 season healthy. So for me, it's no question. I still have images seared into my brain of how well he played that Monday night in San Francisco against the 49ers. That was the night the sports hernia started to flare up. It affected him the rest of the year, but he was incredible on that Monday night game. If you can get that guy for just a handful of games in the season, that may be the difference between playoffs and no playoffs.
I think it's a great pick. I just, I don't want to pay him $21 million, and no matter how intriguing he is, he's not signing for in the mid-teens right now. So, I guess it's semantics. My third pick is going to be Everson Griffin of the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, to me, this guy has been a steady Eddie pass rusher for the last 8 years or however many years it's been. He's one of the most dangerous pass rushers in football. So his last year and a half or so with the Vikings, problematic, had some issues off the field, as everybody knows. But I think he's got his life in order right now. He knows that probably this is his last chance, to really make an impact and make real money in the NFL. Someone's going to give him an incentive-laden contract, Mike, and be very, very happy by November when he's third in the NFL in sacks.
Yeah, look, that's a great choice. And I almost took him before Clowney because this guy who he has been a sack machine. He's been one of the best pass rushers of his generation. He doesn't get the credit he deserves, and he's a great leader. I think that his departure from Minnesota hurts that team more than anyone else's, other than maybe Stephon Diggs. But Griffin is a guy that defense has rallied around for years, and he will be missed in Minnesota. And somebody's going to get a very, very good player and a very, very good leader in Everson Griffin. All right, hey, look, I may be fracturing the rules slightly, but this is most intriguing available free agents. And restricted free agents are still free agents. And we've talked about Taysom Hill already. How can we not have Taysom Hill on this list? Without question, he's intriguing.
You can't give this up.
I can't give it up.
Give this up.
It is intriguing.
You are like the dog. You're like, you know what you're like? You're like Elizabeth Warren's dog with he had his mouth around a taco or something, and they couldn't get him to let it go. So finally they said, well, better just let him eat it. That's what you are with Taysom Hill.
Well, let me eat my taco and leave me alone. You agree with me, though, especially if he stays in New Orleans 2021, he's going to be the starting quarterback, and Sean Payton is going to turn him into a star.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I wouldn't include him on this list is I wouldn't exactly call a free agent someone who's going to require a first-round draft pick compensation. So I don't know. But technically he's a free agent, so go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's going to make that offer, and here's why too. First, you have to get him to sign the offer sheet, and that's what is fascinating to me about this. If he stays and waits a year, he cracks $20 million with the Saints easily cracks $20 million. They may have to use the franchise tag on him next year to keep him from walking away to another team. But if a team would try to sign him now, they're not offering him $20 million, Peter. They're gonna offer him a contract commensurate with what he currently does. So he's gonna blow his chance to be the Saints starting quarterback by taking a deal that would allow him to continue to be the jack of all trades for someone else. That, to me, is the biggest reason why he's not going to sign an offer sheet and leave the Saints. No one's going to put an offer on the table that he's going to say, oh, I have to take this because it's going to fulfill my dream of becoming a franchise quarterback.
Mike, you're absolutely right. If you know that there's a 70% chance on opening day 2021, you're the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints and Sean Payton with Michael Thomas to throw to and Alvin Kamara to pitch to, why in the world would you choose to go anywhere else? And that, to me, is one of the really, really big reasons why there's no way in the world I would do that. Can I just give you an honorable mention extra guy? Like, I mean, to me, Bill Parcells, a long time ago, I think he started this cliche. The most important part of ability is availability. Okay? To me, The most intriguing person in recent NFL history who's a free agent right now is a cornerback by the name of Brandon Carr. And everybody said, Brandon Carr, he's been on Dallas, been on Baltimore, he's never been a big star. You know what Brandon Carr has been? Available. Brandon Carr has eaten up more than 1,000 snaps. Think about this. More than 1,000 snaps, 12 years in a row. Okay, so in my opinion, if I'm looking for a guy who's, even if he's going to be my third or fourth corner, and I got to pay him, what, $4 million, $5 million this year, I've got the greatest insurance policy at cornerback. And by the way, a mid-tier the last couple of years rated cornerback on Pro Football Focus, not Xavier Rhodes rated, very low. I would take Brandon Carr, and I would love that pick. And I'd love him to come to training camp to teach my young corners, son, this is the way it's done.
Hey, I got one for you in a similar vein, Peter. Logan Ryan is available at corner. There was talk last year
at one point. Great
Defensive Player of the Year. He's missed 3 games in 7 NFL seasons, and he's got that winning pedigree from his time with the New England Patriots. And he's the guy. Isn't he the guy who delivered the dagger to Tom Brady's career in New England with the pick 6 at the end of the
He's the guy who caught the last pass. Yeah, he caught the last pass, that last pass from Brady, obviously. And Mike, how shocked would you be, not very, if you saw him sign with the Patriots 2 years, $9 million? I mean, one of the reasons why the Patriots handle free agency in these weird trades, like the Kyle Van Noy-ish trade, where you're basically trading a 5th-round pick for Kyle Van Noy in a 7th or whatever that was. That's where the Patriots really make hay. And they turn these guys into really good players. How thankful, by the way, must Kyle Van Noy be to the New England Patriots and to Bill Belichick and to Brian Flores, quite honestly, for putting him in position to be a great player. Mike, I voted Kyle Van Noy as one of my all-pro linebackers last year. And now he gets a, $56 million contract with Miami. And all I'm saying is that I want to know on Bill Belichick's grease board right now in his office, or right now in his home office, which is where it has to be. I want to know on his grease board, I want his 10 guys right now that he is waiting for the market to cave in on. And which is it's in the process of doing. And then he's going to swoop in like a vulture, and he's going to take the low-cost guys, let's say the week after the draft.
Maybe even a quarterback who's 2-0 all-time against the New England Patriots. That would be Cam Newton, and that is the corner square in PFT Bingo. That's one of my favorite stats to point out. And I don't think that Cam Newton fits in New England, but that's the kind of idea. The longer this process goes, the financial demands drop, guys become available, and Belichick swoops in and bargain shops and gets value, dollar for dollar, better value than anyone gets in free agency.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.